So, you're a product person, right? And you've probably played around with AI, maybe even gotten it to spit out some amazing code. But then what? It's just stuck there in a chat window? Well, you're in exactly the right place. In this explainer, we're going to bridge that gap. I'm going to show you step by step how to take that idea and turn it into a real, live prototype that you can share with literally anyone.
Okay, let's kick things off with this idea, which I think is just so powerful for any product leader today. GitHub speaks louder than titles. I mean, it really says it all, doesn't it? It's not enough anymore to just write the best specs or design the prettiest mockups. The new standard, the real game changer, is proving you can actually build and ship things. Your ability to create, that's your new resume.
So you've had that aha moment, right? You describe some cool idea to an AI, and poof, it just writes all the code. It feels like magic. But then, what's next? That amazing code is just sitting there. It's kind of like a cool experiment that no one can see. Well, today, we're going to set that code free. We're giving it a home and a way to get out into the world. All right, first up, the new product standard. We're going to talk about the builder who ships and why tools like GitHub are suddenly becoming must-haves for PMs and designers. Yeah, not just for engineers anymore. It's a huge shift in what it means to be a product leader. And if you need proof, look at this number. 484. That's how many times a top AI product manager over at Google Cloud contributed to GitHub just last year. This just perfectly illustrates that shift we're talking about. The best PMs, they're not just managing backlogs anymore. They are actively in the trenches, building and shipping prototypes to really sell their vision. Okay, next section, your tools and the lingo. We're going to pull back the curtain on the developer's toolkit. It can seem kind of intimidating, I know, but we're going to break down the key tools and translate all that jargon. And I'll let you in on a secret. You probably already get these concepts. They just have different names in this world. All right, the first hurdle for basically everyone is Git versus GitHub. What's the deal? The best analogy I've heard is this. Think of Git as the engine. It's this powerful piece of software that lives on your computer, and its whole job is to track every single change. Then you have GitHub. That's the garage. It's the place in the cloud where you park your project, where you collaborate with others, and where you show off your work. First term, you'll hear all the time, repository, or what everyone calls a repo. Honestly, don't let the fancy name fool you. It's just a folder. That's it. It's the main project folder that holds all your files. Think of it as your project's home base. Next up, a commit. Now, we're all used to things like Google Docs that just save constantly, right? Well, a commit is different. It's a deliberate save. It's like taking a snapshot of your work at a really specific moment in time and slapping a sticky note on it that says, here's exactly what I changed. It's how you build up this beautiful, clear history of your project. Okay, so a commit saves your work on your own laptop. It's local. But what good is that if your laptop crashes? That's where pushing comes in. Pushing is just syncing or uploading all those local save points up to the cloud, up to GitHub. This is what keeps your work safe, backed up, and ready to share with your team. And finally, we have the branch. This might be the most powerful concept of all. Seriously, a branch is like creating a sandbox, or maybe a draft copy of your project. It's a totally safe parallel universe where you can experiment with new features, try crazy ideas, and even break everything, and it won't affect your main working version one bit. It's a total game changer. All right, enough theory. It's time to get our hands dirty. In this next part, we're going from AI to our very first commit. I'm going to walk you through the core workflow step by step to get that code out of the chat window and safely into a real project. Step 1. We're starting in the GitHub desktop app. Super simple. You're just going to create a new repository. You can see right here, you just give your project a name, tell it where to save the folder on your computer, and you're done. That's it. You've just created that home base folder we were talking about, and now Git is officially watching it for any changes. Okay, step 2 is the fun part. You head over to your favorite AI, whatever it is, could be Gemini, ChatGPT, you name it. You write a good prompt describing what you want to build. For this example, we're making a little interactive site that explains how LLMs work. And boom, the AI just spits out all the HTML, CSS, and JavaScript you need, usually all in one nice block of code. Now for step 3. Back in GitHub Desktop, you'll see this handy button that says Open in Visual Studio Code. Click that, and it zips you right over to your project folder in a code editor. All you have to do here is create one new file, call it index.html, and then just paste in all that code you copied from the AI. Simple as that. Okay, now check this out. because this is where the magic really happens. The second you save that file in your code editor, you flip back to GitHub Desktop and it already knows. It instantly sees the new file you made, and look, it even highlights every single line of code you just added in green. There's no guesswork. It's tracking everything for you automatically.
And we're at step 5, finishing the loop. All you do now is write a quick summary of what you did, something like, create index.html works perfectly. Then you hit that big blue commit button. That creates your local save point, your snapshot. And finally, you click Publish Repository to push all that good work up to your garage in the cloud, up to github.com. Okay, deep breaths, because this is the best part. This is the payoff. Right now, your code is safe up on GitHub, but it's really just a folder full of files. Now, we need to flip the switch and turn it into a live, public URL that anyone, anywhere can visit. So you just hop onto the GitHub website, go to your repository, and click on Settings. Over on the side, you'll see an option for Pages. Click that. And believe it or not, there's only one thing you have to do here. Tell it which branch to publish. You just select your main branch from that little drop-down menu and hit Save. And that's literally it. You've done your part. Now GitHub just takes over. It does all the complicated stuff in the background, building your site, deploying it out to its massive global network. You just have to sit back for maybe 60 seconds. And there it is, success. Your project is now a live, shareable website on the public internet. You have a URL you can send to your team, your boss, your friends, anyone. That idea that was just text in a chat window a few minutes ago, it's now a real, interactive thing on the web. You didn't just write a document, you actually shipped something. Okay, so your site's live, which is awesome. But what about, day 2? What happens when you want to add a new feature, maybe a dark mode toggle or something? How do you do that without being terrified you're going to break the live site that everyone's looking at? Well, the answer goes back to my favorite feature, branches. So this is the professional workflow in a nutshell, and it's all about branches. First, you create a new branch. That's your safe sandbox. Inside that sandbox, you do all your work, you add the new code, you test it locally. Then, when you're happy with it, you open what's called a pull request. Just think of it like a formal proposal that says, hey team, I've built this new feature, can you take a look? Once it gets the thumbs up, you merge it, and poof, your new feature is now part of the live site, slick and seamless. So let's just pause for a second and think about what you've actually accomplished here. This is huge. You took an idea from nothing more than a text prompt all the way to a live URL. You used the same Pro Tools that engineers use every day, VS Code, Git, and GitHub. You learned the fundamental loop of shipping code. And now you can build and share your own interactive prototypes whenever you want. Look, you now have the tools, and you have the workflow. That friction, that giant gap between having an idea and getting it to a live URL, it's basically gone. So the next time you have a big idea, instead of just writing another spec doc, why not just build it? The barrier to entry has never, ever been lower. The only thing left to ask is, what are you going to build first?